This is our 100th episode?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that?
No, you're the 100th episode.
Oh my God, celebration station. Am I truly 100? You guys.
You doing
Today I'm going to show you how to make arancini, which are deep fried, crispy on the outside, gooey on the inside risotto balls. There's a few steps to this process. Number one, you have to start with making your risotto, which isn't as intimidating as it often sounds. And then you form them into balls. You stuff them with small pieces of mozzarella. They then go through a breading process, and then they get deep fried. To start a risotto, the base of the risotto is onion and garlic. So it's one large onion that I'm gonna dice. We have 2 cloves of garlic, which I'm just gonna lightly smash because it makes it easier to remove the peel. I know, seriously, with the Allison comments. Like, I get it, Brad and his Allison. I'm not Brad. Just thinly slicing this garlic. All my onion into one bowl. I'll put my sliced garlic into this one, and then we'll head over to the stove and start the risotto. Andiamo. I have 3.5 cups of stock on the back burner here, just keeping warm, that we're gonna add little by little later on, but it's important to keep it warm so that you don't lower the temperature of the risotto every time you add it. So just first things first, get your stock on the back burner. So we're gonna start this with 2 tablespoons of butter, just melting it over medium heat until foamy. Every good risotto starts with a base of aromatics. At the very bare minimum, there's gotta be onion, so that is going to be the beginning of our risotto. So we'll put that in first. Just stirring occasionally. This will take about 5 minutes. The onions are nice and soft. I'm going to add now my garlic. So just another minute or so to mellow out the raw garlic. This is carnaroli, which is a short grain Italian rice. I'm gonna add this and just start to toast it here in this relatively dry skillet. And you'll notice that some of the grains are gonna start to turn translucent around the outside with a little white dot in the middle. And that's just them starting to heat and toast in the fat. I have a 1/2 cup of white wine that I'll use to deglaze. And I'm gonna cook off any of that super raw alcoholic flavor, and that's just gonna add a nice sort of acidity to the finished risotto. So a couple of minutes just until all of the liquid has been absorbed and the alcohol's cooked off. So now we're gonna start little by little adding the stock. So I'm gonna start with 1 cup of broth. Stirring pretty frequently because that's gonna help for some of the starch in the rice to come out as you're sort of beating it around in the pan, and that'll help make it super creamy. And I'm letting all of that broth absorb into the rice before adding another ladleful. You could listen to an episode of the Bon Appetit Foodcast while you made your risotto. That'd be lovely. There was actually a really good episode with Samin Nosrat. I think Carla interviewed her recently. So why don't you go listen to that one? So all of our broth has been added, and there's very little liquid left. You can see the streaks on the bottom of the pot as I stir. So it's time to take it off the heat and add the rest of our ingredients. So we'll go back over here. And I'm gonna add in 2 more tablespoons of butter. There's really no point in holding back here. I'm also going to add in a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, which is not traditional, but in developing this recipe, I felt like arancini are often really dry by the time that the risotto is cooked, and then they get breaded, and then they fry, and I'm not here for dry arancini. So a little added padding of a 1/4 cup of heavy cream really does the trick. You will see when we break into them. So I have 2 teaspoons of lemon zest and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So this is brightening up the risotto a bit. And then obviously black pepper. And then I'll just add little by little 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese. And you can see as I'm stirring, this is getting really creamy. At this point, you could serve it up just as is. It would be delightful, but we're gonna hold off and turn it into arancini. I have a piece of parchment lining a rimmed baking sheet, and I'm gonna sheet out all of this risotto and let it cool. Spreading it evenly out here. This will help it cool off more quickly. And then I'll throw it in the fridge for about an hour. Our risotto's been chilling for an hour, which means we are ready to form the arancini. So I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup measure and scoop a 1/4 cup of this chilled risotto into my hand, flatten it into a very loose 2-inch patty, and then place 1 or 2 pieces of mozzarella right into the center of it, and then just using my fingers to kind of fold the sides up around it and enclose that mozzarella and just gently roll it into a ball. We now have 12 perfectly formed little orbs, and we're gonna let them freeze for 10 minutes just to firm up a bit before we go for the dredge. It's been 10 min. Voila. So now we're gonna go to the breading station. Okay, so the 3-part dredge is important to get a really good crust that holds in all of the creamy risotto and the molten mozzarella. So we start by throwing each one in the flour. Let it shake off. Go into the egg wash. So you always want to have a dry hand and a wet hand. So this left hand will be my wet hand. Let the egg drip. And then I'll use my dry hand over here for the panko again. And then onto a fresh sheet of parchment, and we'll keep going. Okay, let's fry. So there are 12, so I'll do 6 at a time. Just gently lowering them into the oil. You can give these guys a little nudge in the oil as they're frying, just so that they fry evenly all around. It's been 6 minutes. These look beautiful. And I'm draining them here on a paper towel lined plate. And then just seasoning them lightly with salt. Since they just came out of the deep fryer, it'll cling to them. I'm gonna go plate them. To serve with these arancini, I'm gonna make a super simple spicy dipping sauce. So I'm starting with a couple tablespoons of chopped Calabrian chilies. These are found jarred. They're Sicilian. They're super, super spicy. They're packed in oil and vinegar, and they're pretty powerful, incredible ingredients. To the Calabrian chilies, I'm gonna add half of a grated garlic clove, some lemon zest, and lemon juice, and then a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and just stir this together. It's a really beautiful, vibrant, super spicy, super vinegary condiment to serve with the arancini. I called some friends down for an arancini party.
Ooh, got a little lemon bite situation.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of lemon.
Oh my god. My breath is gonna be insane after this. Wow. 10
It's
out of 10
spicy
now.
in like a very nice way.
Arancini with Calabrian chilies are the new mozzarella sticks, basically.
Whoa.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Wow.
There's so many cheese pulls to be had in these. It's like almost TMI.
Yeah.
NSFW. For sure.